Okay, it was a big one today. 33 dividend payments. Monday the 18th of October 2021. That's the most in one day. There was more dividend payments between 8 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the evening today than there was for the entirety of last week. So it's going to be a long one today. And also the Navios Maritime Partners shares came in. 0.267 shares I got of this new one. So I'll have to find the details on that. I've never seen this before, no percentages. So maybe it's still processing or whatever. So I'll do a little rundown on that one later because I have enough to do for today. So it added up to €1.27. The first dividend payer was ING Group. Ticker symbol is INGA. It's about €13 per share at the moment, based in the Netherlands. And it's in the financial sector, it's a regional bank. Financial institution that offers banking services, and its segments include Retail Netherlands, Retail Germany, Retail Other, Wholesale Banking, and that appears to be it. 55,000 employees. Current dividend yield is 3.43%, and it pays a dividend twice a year. The ordinary, I received two today. One ordinary payment of 23 cents per share and one bonus dividend of 17 cents per share. Quarterly net income, €969 million, and annually is about 4.78 billion. Quarterly debt to assets of 94.5%. And annually is about the same, 94%. And its annual cash flow from operating is 13.06 billion. From investing is about negative 2.5 billion. And from financing is negative 4.15 billion euro. Number 2 was JP Morgan European Income. Ticker symbol JETI. It's about £1.53 per share, based in the UK. It's a miscellaneous financial services industry. And it's an investment trust company. Has approximately 2 share classes, which are growth and income. Current dividend yield is 4.42%. Pays a dividend every quarter. And this was an ordinary payment of 1.4 pence per share, which is down a lot from the previous 2.5 pence per share. Quarterly profit margin, 98.5%. Annually is 96.6%. Quarterly debt to assets of about 11%. And annually is about 9.5%. And its annual cash flow from operating, £6.9 million. From investing, £3.89 million, and from financing, negative £33.45 million. Next was American Financial TRS. Ticker symbol is AFIN. And it's about $8.50 per share. In the real estate operations industry, based in the USA. It's a real estate investment trust. It's focused on acquiring and managing a diversified portfolio of primarily service-oriented and traditional retail and distribution-related commercial real estate properties, located mainly in the USA. Current dividend yield is a high 10.22%, but it does have a negative earnings per share. Pays a dividend every month, and this was an ordinary payment of 18 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin, negative 1.8%, and annually is negative 10.5%. Quarterly debt to assets, 53%, and annually is about the same. And its annual cash flow from operating 92.72 million. From investing is negative 222.96 million, and from financing is $143.8 million. The next dividend payer, American Tower Corporation. Ticker symbol is AMT. It's about $268 per share, based in the US, and it's in the rental and leasing industry. It's a holding company that operates as a real estate investment trust. It owns, operates, and develops multi-tenant communications real estate. Current dividend yield 1.98%. Pays a dividend every quarter, and this was an ordinary payment of $1.11 per share, which is up from the previous $1.08 per share. Quarterly profit margin 32.5%. Annually is 21%. Quarterly debt to assets 90%, and annually is about 91%. And its annual cash flow from operating $3.88 billion, from investing negative $4.78 billion, and from financing $1.22 billion. Next is Preferred Apartment Communities. Ticker symbol is APTS. It's about $12.37 per share. It's in the real estate operations industry, based in the USA, and it's another real estate investment trust. It's formed to acquire and operate multifamily properties in select targeted markets throughout the US. Current dividend yield is a high 12%, but it has a pretty heavily negative earnings per share. And it pays a dividend every quarter. This was for an ordinary dividend of 14 cents per share, but it was the first that I've ever received from them. Quarterly profit margin, negative 13%, and annually is negative 1.5%. Quarterly debt to assets of 64.5%, and annually is about 59.5%. And its annual cash flow from operating 145.6 million, from investing negative 661 million, and from financing 564, basically $565 million. Next we have Alexandria Real Estate Equities. Ticker symbol is ARE. $202 per share. Real estate operations industry, and it's another real estate investment trust. It's engaged in the business of providing space for lease to the life science and technology industries. Current dividend yield is 2.3%. Pays a dividend every quarter, and this was an ordinary payment of 95 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin 75.5%, and annually is about 41%. Quarterly debt to assets 47.5%, and annually is about 48.5%. And its annual cash flow from operating $882.5 million, from investing negative $3.28 billion, and from financing $2.75 billion. Next is Algonquin Power and Utilities. Ticker symbol is AQN. So it's about $15 per share. It's based in Canada, but I think this must be a US market stock, yeah, the New York Stock Exchange. So the company itself is based in Canada. It's in the electric utilities industry. Canada-based diversified generation, transmission and distribution utility company. 750,000 customers in the US. Its current dividend yield, 4.74%. Pays a dividend every quarter. And this was an ordinary payment of 14 cents per share, which is the same as the previous that I received. Quarterly profit margin, about 20%. And annually is about 47.5%. Quarterly debt to assets, 68.5%. Annually is about 60.5%. And its annual cash flow from operating, $505.2 million. From investing is negative $1.23 billion. And from financing is $766.8 million. Next is Avalon Bay Communities, ticker symbol AVB, $230 per share. It's in the real estate operations industry. It's another real estate investment trust. And its operating segments include established communities, other stabilized communities, and development or redevelopment communities. Dividend yield, 2.84%. Pays a dividend every quarter. This was an ordinary payment of $1.35 per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin is about 80%, and annually is about 36%. Quarterly debt to assets, 43.5%, and annually is about the same, 44%. Annual cash flow from operating, $1.22 billion. Investing is negative $179.4 million. And from financing, negative $854.2 million. Next was Franklin Resources, ticker symbol BEN. It's about $30 per share at the moment, based in the US. It's in the investment services industry. It's a holding company with subsidiaries operating under its Franklin Templeton and or subsidiary brand names. Through its investment products, it provides investment management and related services to retail, institutional, and high net worth investors. Dividend yield 3.73%. Pays a quarterly dividend, and this was an ordinary payment of 23 cents per share, which is down a bit from the previous 24 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin, 20%, and annually is about 14.5%. Quarterly debt to assets, about 53%, and annually is about the same. And its annual cash flow from operating is about $1.02 billion. From investing is negative $3.24 billion, and from financing is $194.2 million. Next is Broadmark Realty Capital, ticker symbol BRMK, $10.25 per share. Based in the US, it's in the consumer financial services industry, and it's another real estate investment trust, specialized in underwriting, funding, servicing, and managing a portfolio of short-term first deed of trust loans to fund the construction and development of or investment in residential or commercial properties. Current dividend yield is a high 8.36%. Pays a dividend every month, and this was for an ordinary payment of 5 cents per share, which is down a bit from the previous 6 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin 62.5%, and annually is about 74%. Quarterly debt to assets 2.2%, and annually is 1%. And its annual cash flow from operating $61.34 million. From investing is $34.88 million, and from financing is negative $111 million. Next was WP Carey, ticker symbol WPC. It's about $77 per share. Another real estate investment trust. It's in the miscellaneous financial services industry, based in the US, and it's an owner of commercial real estate net leased to companies on a long-term basis. Its current dividend yield, about 5.5%. Pays a dividend every quarter, and this was an ordinary payment of 89 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin, 37.5%, and annually is about the same. Quarterly debt to assets, 52%, and annually is about 53%. And its annual cash flow from operating, $801.5 million. From investing, negative $539.9 million. And from financing, negative $210.7 million. Another real estate investment trust, Verite, ticker symbol VER. It's about $49 per share. Also based in the US. Real estate operating company that owns and actively manages a diversified portfolio of single-tenant retail, restaurant, office, and industrial real estate assets. And they're subject to long-term net leases with credit-worthy tenants. Current dividend yield, 4.77%. Pays a dividend every quarter. This was an ordinary payment of 39 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin, about 20%. And annually is negative 24%. Quarterly debt to assets, 50%. Annually is about the same, 48.5%. And its annual cash flow from operating, negative $107.6 million. From investing is $613.2 million. And from financing, negative $525.4 million. Next we have Cardinal Health, ticker symbol CAH. It's about $47.50 per share, based in the US again, and it's in the healthcare sector, in the biotechnology and drugs industry. It provides healthcare services and products, operates in two segments which are pharmaceutical and medical. Current dividend yield is 4%, pays a dividend every quarter. And this was an ordinary payment of 41 cents per share, which is down a bit from the previous 42 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin is basically nothing, 0.3%, and annually is pretty much the same. Its quarterly debt to assets, 96%, and annually is the same. And its annual cash flow from operating, $2.32 billion. From investing is negative $378 million. And from financing, negative $1.32 billion. I've just learned a harsh lesson. My laptop froze, and I usually record a video in one big block, and I lost the video that I made. So, lesson learned. If you're making a video yourself, make it in chunks and make sure you have the files if you're making a 40-minute video. Okay, next dividend payer, US Bank Corp, ticker symbol USB. It's about $60 per share. It's a bank in the United States, as the name suggests, and provides a range of financial services, including lending and depository services, cash management, capital markets, and trust and investment management services. Its current dividend yield, 3%, pays a quarterly dividend, and this was an ordinary payment of 39 cents per share, which is up a bit from the previous 36 cents per share. All it gives is the net income, but it was 2.03 billion for the last quarter and 4.96 billion over the last year. Quarterly debt to assets is about 90.5%, and annually is about the same. And its annual cash flow from operating, $3.72 billion, from investing negative $15.44 billion, and from financing $51.9 billion. Next is Cross Timbers Royalty. Ticker symbol is CRT. It's about $15 per share, based in the US. It's in the miscellaneous financial services industry, and it's an express trust. The net profits interests are the principal asset of the trust. The trust receives net profits income from the net profits interests, generally on the last business day of each month. Underlying properties include over 2,900 producing properties in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Dividend yield, 6.78%. Pays a dividend every month, and this was an ordinary payment of 13 cents per share, which is up a bit from the previous 11 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin, 93%, and annually is about 88%. Quarterly debt to assets, 32.7%, and annually is about 15.5%. And its annual cash flow from operating is about $4 million, and from financing is negative $4.67 million. Next is DTE Energy. Ticker symbol is DTE. So it's about $113 per share, based in the US, and it's in the electric utilities industry. It's a diversified energy company focused on development and management of energy-related businesses and services nationwide. Dividend yield is 2.9%. Pays a dividend every quarter, and this was an ordinary payment of 70 cents per share, but it's the first that I've received from DTE. So it only gives the net income, but for the last quarter it was $179 million, and over the last year it was $1.37 billion. Quarterly debt to assets, 75%, and annually is about 72-73%. And its annual cash flow from operating is $3.7 billion, from investing negative $4.07 billion, and from financing is $796 million. Next is Ecolab. Ticker symbol is ECL. It's about $218 per share at the moment. It's taking a little while to load. The next dividend payer was Ecolab. Ticker symbol is ECL. It's about $219 per share. It's in the construction services industry, based in the USA, and it provides water, hygiene, and infection prevention solutions and services. So it has cleaning and sanitizing programs and products, and pest elimination services, and that supports customers in the food service, food and beverage processing, hospitality, healthcare, government and education, retail, textile care, and commercial facilities management sectors. Its current dividend yield is a low 0.89%, and Ecolab pays a dividend every quarter. This was an ordinary payment of 40 cents per share, which is down a little bit from the previous 41 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin is 9.83% and annually is negative 10%. Quarterly debt to assets is about 64% and annually is about 66%. And its annual cash flow from operating is 1.86 billion. From investing is negative 414.5 million, and from financing is negative $341.8 million. Next is STOR Capital Corporation, ticker symbol STOR. It's about $34 per share at the moment. It's another real estate investment trust from the USA. And what STOR stands for is single tenant operational real estate properties. So it owns a portfolio that consists of investments in 1,660 property locations, operated by 360 customers across 48 states. Its current dividend yield is 4.69%, pays a dividend every quarter, and this was an ordinary payment of 32 cents per share, which is up a little bit from the previous 31 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin 32.5% and annually is about 31%. Quarterly debt to assets 45.5% and annually is about 44%. And its annual cash flow from operating is 431.5 million. From investing is negative 811.8 million. And from financing is $445.5 million. Next we have EPR Properties Real Estate Investment Trust. Ticker symbol is EPR. It's about $52 per share at the moment. It's in the real estate operations industry. It's another real estate investment trust from the USA. It operates through two segments, which are experiential and education. The experiential segment consists of property types which include 177 theatres, 58 eat and play properties, 18 attraction properties, 13 ski properties, 7 experiential lodging properties, gaming properties, cultural properties, and fitness and wellness properties. The education segment consists of property types that include 65 early childhood education centres, 9 private schools, and its investment portfolio includes ownership of and long-term mortgages on experiential and educational properties. Current dividend yield 5.76%. Does have a negative earnings per share though. Pays a dividend every month, and this was for an ordinary dividend for 21 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin is about 15% and annually is negative 32%. Quarterly debt to assets is about 57% and annually is about 61%. And its annual cash flow from operating is 65.27 million. From investing is 133.99 million, and from financing is $297.17 million. The next dividend payer was STAG Industrial. Ticker symbol is STAG. So it's about $43 per share at the moment. It's yet another real estate investment trust based in the US, and it's focused on the acquisition, ownership and operation of single tenant industrial properties throughout the US. Its current dividend yield 3.55%, pays a dividend every month, and this was an ordinary payment of 10 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin is about 24% and annually is about 42%. Its Its quarterly debt to assets 44.7%, and annually is about 42%. And its annual cash flow from operating is 293.9 million. From investing is negative 554.6 million, and from financing is $269.18 million. Next is Sempra Energy. Ticker symbol is SRE. It's about $127 per share. It's in the electric utilities industry, based in the USA, and it invests in, develops and operates energy infrastructure and provides electric and gas services to customers through regulated public utilities. Its current dividend yield is 3.57%, pays a dividend every quarter, and this was an ordinary payment of 93 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. No, sorry, the previous was 94 cents, so it went down 1 cent. So it only gives the net income, and over the last quarter was 445 million, and annually is $3.93 billion. Quarterly debt to assets is 63%, and annually is about 65%, and its annual cash flow from operating is $2.59 billion. From investing is $553 million, and from financing, negative $2.37 billion. The next one is, I think, the only ETF that paid today. Yes, the iShares Dow Jones US Select Dividend in Euro. Ticker symbol is EXX5. It's on the German stock exchange, the Deutsche Börse Extra. It's currently trading for about 72, closer to 73 euro per share. And I haven't done the ETFs video just yet, so I haven't dug in deeper. But I'll get the ETF video done. I know I've said it a load of times, but I keep getting distracted by other ideas. Next, we have SL Green Realty. Ticker symbol is SLG. It's about $74 per share. Based in the US, yet another real estate investment trust. It's a self-managed REIT with in-house capabilities in property management, acquisitions and dispositions, financing, development and redevelopment, construction and leasing. So its two segments are real estate and debt and preferred equity investments. Its current dividend yield is about 7%, pays a dividend every month, and this was an ordinary payment of 25 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Sorry, actually, the iShares Dow Jones US Select Dividend, that paid 39 cents in euro per share and pays every quarter. Sorry about that, I forgot that one. Well, the app is getting slow. Hopefully it's just the internet, not the app starting to break down. I wonder how many stocks is too much, but I'll try not to find out. Next is Federal Realty Investment Trust, ticker symbol FRT. It's about 123, closer to $124 per share at the moment. Based in the US, yet another real estate investment trust. And it's engaged in the ownership, management and redevelopment of retail and mixed-use properties located primarily in affluent communities in selected metropolitan markets in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic regions of the US, as well as in California and South Florida. current dividend yield is 3.45%. Pays a dividend every quarter, and there was a huge difference in these two dividend payments. This one was for 90 cents per share, and the previous was for 23 cents per share. And this pays every quarter, so there shouldn't be massive fluctuations between it. So maybe it was just a very profitable quarter for them. But we'll see. Quarterly profit margin, 20%. And annually is 15.76%. Quarterly debt to assets, 67.5%. And annually is about the same. And its annual cash flow from operating, 369.9 million. From investing, negative 368.3 million. And from financing is $661.7 million. Yes, the next one, Horizon Technology Finance, ticker symbol HRZN. It's about $17 per share at the moment. It's based in the USA, and it's in the miscellaneous financial services industry. It's a specialty finance company that lends to and invests in development stage companies in the technology, life science, healthcare information, and services. I assume that's sectors. The company's investment objective is to maximize its investment portfolio's total return by generating current income from the debt investments that it makes and capital appreciation from the warrants it receives when making such debt investments. Its current dividend yield is 7.12%. Pays a dividend every month. And this was an ordinary payment of 8 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin, 46.4%, and annually is 20%. Quarterly debt to assets is about 50%, and annually is about 48%. And its annual cash flow from operating is negative $25.28 million. And from financing is $55.66 million. The next dividend payer, Innovative Industrial Properties. Ticker symbol is IIPR. It's about $241 per share, based in the US, and it's in the rental and leasing industry, but it's another real estate investment trust. The company is focused on the acquisition, ownership, and management of specialized industrial properties leased to state license operators for their regulated state licensed cannabis facilities. Its current dividend yield is about 3.5%, pays a quarterly dividend, and this was an ordinary payment of $1.27 per share, which is up a nice little bit from the previous $1.19 per share. Quarterly profit margin is about 55%, and annually is about 53%. Quarterly debt to assets is about 18%, and annually is about 26%. And its annual cash flow from operating, 44.93 million. From investing is negative 340.6 million, and from financing is the guts of $400 million. The next dividend payer, Packaging Corporation of America. Ticker symbol is PKG. It's about $134 per share, based in the US. And I assume it's in the containers and packaging industry, which I think is in the basic materials sector. But unfortunately, there's no information given here. Yeah, usually if everything is completely empty, there tends to not be a graph, so maybe they're just processing it. Anyway, Packaging of America. It paid me a dividend of 85 cents per share, which is the first dividend I've received from them, and it pays a dividend every quarter. There's nothing else, unfortunately. Next we have Pembina Pipeline Corporation, ticker symbol PBA. So it trades for about $34 per share at the moment. It's based in Canada, but I think this stock is on the US markets. Yeah, it's on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's in the oil well services and equipment industry. It's a Canada-based transportation and midstream service provider. It owns an integrated system of pipelines that transport various hydrocarbon fluids and natural gas products, produced primarily in Western Canada. Its current dividend yield is a nice 8.62%, and it pays a dividend every month. This was an ordinary dividend of 14 cents per share, which is down a little bit from the previous 15 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin, it's about 20%, and annually is about the same. Its quarterly debt to assets is 50%, and annually is about the same. And its annual cash flow from operating is $2.53 billion, from investing is negative $3.91 billion, and from financing is $1.35 billion. Nearly there, 4 left. Next is Realty Income. Ticker symbol is O. It's about $70 per share. It's another real estate investment trust from the USA, and it's engaged in in-house acquisition, portfolio management, asset management, credit research, real estate research, legal, finance and accounting, information technology, and capital markets capabilities. Its current dividend yield is 4.44%. Pays a dividend every month, and this was an ordinary payment of 20 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin 26%, and annually is about 30%. Quarterly debt to assets 46%, and annually is about 47%. And its annual cash flow from operating is $1.07 billion. From investing is negative $3.5 billion, and from financing is $2.49 billion. Another monthly payer, Main Street Capital. Ticker symbol is MAIN. It's $43 per share. It's another, don't think a real estate investment trust. No, it's based in the US, but it's a principal investment firm. It's in the miscellaneous financial services industry. It generates income from the company's debt investments and capital appreciation from its equity and equity-related investments, which include warrants, convertible securities, and other rights to acquire equity securities in a portfolio company. Its current dividend yield is 8%. Pays a dividend every month, and this was an ordinary payment of 17 cents per share, which is the same as the previous. Quarterly profit margin about 83%, and annually is about 53%. Quarterly debt to assets 46%, and annually is about 43%. And its annual cash flow from operating is negative $33.83 million, and from financing is $34.9 million. Second last, we have Leggett & Platt. Ticker symbol LEG. It's $46 per share. It's based in the US, and it's in the furniture and fixtures industry. It's a manufacturer that conceives, designs, and produces a range of engineered components and products found mainly in homes and automobiles. As bedding products, specialized products, furniture, flooring, and textile products. Its current dividend yield is 3.67%, pays a dividend every quarter, and this was an ordinary dividend of 35 cents per share, which is down a bit from the previous 36 cents per share. Quarterly profit margin is about 9%, and annually is about 6%. Quarterly debt to assets 70%, and annually is about the same. And its annual cash flow from operating 602.6 million. From investing is negative 49 million, and from financing negative $461.7 million. And the final dividend payer for today is Lincoln Electric. Ticker symbol is LECO. So it's about $139 per share. And it's in the construction and agricultural machinery industry. It's a manufacturer of welding, cutting, and brazing products. It has three segments, which are the Americas Welding, International Welding, and the Harris Products Group. The Harris Products Group includes the company's global cutting, soldering, and brazing businesses, as well as the retail businesses in the US. Arc welding power sources, plasma cutters, wire feeding systems, robotic welding packages, integrated automation systems, fume extraction equipment, consumable electrodes, fluxes, and welding accessories. Its current dividend yield 1.5%. Pays a dividend every quarter. And this was an ordinary payment of 43 cents per share, which is the first I've received from Lincoln Electric. Quarterly profit margin 11.5%, and annually is about 8%. Quarterly debt to assets is about 66%, and annually is about the same. And its annual cash flow from operating 351.36 million. From investing negative 49.21 million, and from financing negative $246.16 million. And that is all 33. That was a long one. Very nice though. New high score. And there is over €2 that I can reinvest, which means that I can buy the last renewable energy dividend stock. This one. Yes. And I think let's place an order for an AIM listed security. Stocks that trade on the SETSQX segment of AIM suffer from low liquidity, which might result in your order getting delayed indefinitely. Do you want to proceed? Yes. So the risk with that, obviously, if it could take a while to put the money in, imagine if the market is crashing and you put an order in to take the money out. Probably won't happen. But that's not my concern. That's not how I'm going to invest. All I have to do is make small bets, and if it goes wrong, it's a small loss. If it goes good, it is a small gain. However, it's highly diversified, I would say. And I think this is the last one. Yes, Physicians Realty Trust. It's a healthcare real estate investment trust, which means I have 5 now, so I'll do a video on them soon. I have 117. Get an extra little boost. So that's it for today. God, I must have done 15, maybe 20 takes. And then the laptop froze. I lost half of it. Anyway, new high score, 33 in one day is the score to beat. So if you made it this long, well done. Thank you very much as well. I appreciate it a lot. And if you're interested in dividend stocks, if you're not a member of the channel already, I'm doing daily updates of my dividend payments. I have 530 dividend paying stocks. I'm also doing the basics of the stock market videos, basics of dividend investing, because I'm learning myself, so I'm just putting the information that I'm finding up here. So it could be very useful, whether you're in the market for a while or you've never been in the market at all. But anyway, that's it for today. I hope that this didn't bore you to death, and I hope that you found this useful.